Hi, I'm Brandon Cullins, and I want to talk to you a little bit about trying to fix a horse that wants to bow off a barrel. In my opinion, there's a couple reasons to why a horse will bow off a barrel. To me, I think the most common is they want to start their turn too early. So we can talk about that, how I want one to drive all the way to the backside before they make their move back around. The other one is trying to leave the turn too early. And I'll also talk about why that happens and how to fix that. But those, to me, are the two most common reasons to why one will bow out of a barrel. And both of them, you need to keep the collection in them. That's the biggest thing, I believe. So if I have one that wants to bow off the first, I always take one up the middle of the pen so that they don't kind of go to it too early. Because I want them waiting on me. That way like I said, I'll come almost a little bit further out in the pen than a lot of people do. But that way I want them to run that straight line and stay true all the way to my point. If they're always thinking, get to here, then they're going to wait on me to ask them to turn. So after I make my move over, I'm going to come to the back side of the barrel right here before I let them start making that approach to make that move around. So I get to this point, I come back down, and same here. Like I'm making them, it's kind of counterproductive. You think, oh, they're bailing out, I need to pull them in closer. Well, actually, I feel like you need to move them out and give them a place to go. So I'm going to keep them clear of the barrel all the way around. Then I'm going to even come all the way down here and then come back over. So I'm really actually pushing them out away from the barrel, and that makes them crave the turn even more, but it also makes it easier to make that turn. Because I feel like one that starts the turn too early, if he comes in here and he's trying to start to turn from out there and he's got his nose on the barrel, you can see what happens. His hip goes away. So when his hip goes away and you're trying to turn the barrel like with his hip out away from you, it's going to send you down here. And then you're going to be fighting him the whole way across to get to the next one. So that's why I'm really big on keeping some room coming in and getting all the way to the back side of the barrel before you make your move, and then getting them down, keeping them clear when you're leaving too. Always have a place for your horse to go. So especially your second, I feel like horses want to crowd that a lot. So I'll, when I come across straight and get to about where the paths cross, where you would be leaving the barrel, that's where I kind of want them to make a little bit of a move up and over. And I want them to do that on their own. And I keep that outside rein in them and kind of give them my inside rein. And that way it gives them, like you're not pulling on their face, because like I said, the more you pull on one's face, the more they stop that front foot, and it's going to drag you to the barrel and lose your hip. So I want them to keep, like I said, keep that rein open and keep them free and move to that spot on their own, because it's a lot easier to bring one to the barrel than it is to move them away from it. So once I got them where they're going to stop up here and stay true all the time, like I said, my first step's always up and forward to keep that forward motion around. And then I'm going to come all the way down to the backside, make my move across, and I'm still not going to let them make that move to move out until I get all the way down here and clear that point. And that's going to be, I'll talk about that in a second, about ones that want to leave too early. So, like I said, I just keep a lot of room around the barrel, keep the front feet moving, kind of keep bumping them up to keep that hind end engaged and stay out to your points. You can see there, like, he's really collected. He's driving all the way around the barrels. I don't have a bunch of shape in him, but he feels pretty round in his ribs. And then when he's making that move, like when I get to that point and I'm just touching my reins on his neck, I feel him drive that leg up underneath of him and his shoulders come across, and then he's ready to take off and leave. So that way he's going to be way more efficient on where he's going. And same thing here at the third. Stop him up next to the barrel, move him forward. Because always get forward, never let him cut you off at any point around the barrel. And this is the same as the other two barrels. Keep your points outside of the barrel. Keep his shoulders clear. Keep his hip up underneath of him. And always stay moving. You can see there I'm making these little quarter turns at my points, my 4 points around the barrels, making just a little quick, like one little step over. So I know his shoulders are coming and he's pulling with his front end and I feel that hip staying up underneath of him. If I ever feel like my hip's going away, I either take another step past that point or I bump their shoulders up, bump their front end up so they can make some room for the shoulder, for his hips to get up underneath of him. But like I won't let him leave until I feel that move where he's driving up underneath himself and he's not pulling on me. The other thing, I addressed it a little bit there, but is when a horse wants to leave the barrel a little bit early, and I feel like that is they're making their move on the backside. They're cutting you off on the backside. So it's the same thing I was just doing here. I make sure my approach is good, and so they have that room to stay moving forward. That a lot of horses will get down here and really want to flip back on you after they know the drill. So that's why I really want to work on one to be waiting on me all the way around the barrel. Because like I said, the same as coming in. If I get a horse that wants to start turning here and leaving, like the barrel's in my way. So the barrel, I need to be over there, but the barrel's in my way, so I can either run over it and get there, or they're gonna have to bail out. And most of them will bail out. So that's why I really work on drilling this point, my 3rd and 4th points on them. I really drill that on them because I want them to really hit those marks. Because the more you start running a horse, the more they're going to start shorting you, especially on the backside. So I always try to go back and fix that before it becomes a problem. I really get down to this point and bring them over and clear that one. Like I said, a lot of horses will start, they'll want to short you right here. Then you kind of really ride them with your body and your feet over when you're slow working. Ride them with your body and your feet down to that point and get them clear of the barrel. And then when you get to this one, then a lot of times they want to start shorting you that way because they know that you're going to break them back over. So then you really got to start moving this point in front of him out further too. Like I said, the more everything shortens up when you run, so when you're tuning, make sure you always have plenty of room around it. Come all the way down clear, and then let them make that move over. And that's really going to teach them to drive out and go, and to stay on the move and keep that hip underneath of them. Also, the way I want to stop one and kind of break them down like that and not really like pull them to a stop and really lock them in. So a lot of times if a horse runs in there and pegs on their front end and locks their knees, their hip starts outrunning them, and then that starts that momentum of the hip going away. They start the turn too early, and then by the time they get to the backside, they're 1,000 pounds, their body weight momentum's going to carry them away from the barrel. So that's why I always want to keep those front feet free and pulling. And then same thing, make sure you clear that point. It feels really weird until you kind of do it enough, because you're thinking, oh, I'm running away from the barrel, but it really actually helped tighten them up. You make those quarter turns. You see how he's got a little bit of shape in his body and he's just pulling himself through fluid and easy and doing it really on his own. So I really like a horse to be just smooth and fluid, and this is the best way I found to do it. But to me, that'll solve a lot of your issues. Making a horse wait on you and stay in that turn and keeping them stood up, it'll solve a lot of your problems of a horse bailing out on you. And slowing things down, working on your feet work, that's going to be the biggest thing to save you. And then once you get that solid in there, then your runs start getting a little bit fun, and you don't feel like you're making one run to the next waiting for a problem. They'll start getting solid and easy and get really easy and fun to ride.